Oh, whoa! So Akimbot finally came out. This is a game I've had my eye on for about 4 or 5 months now. I recently made a video on the demo like 2 months ago, so this is about the full game instead. Just as I start, a train. If you don't know what Akimbot is, it's essentially a 3D platformer third-person shooter, and in my video I compared it to Ratchet and Clank and Jak and Daxter, which it is very similar, but it stands on its own 2 feet, trust me. Akimbot is developed by Evil Raptor Studios, who actually was originally just one guy, and that one guy originally made Pumpkin Jack. And then he recruited a team of like 8 people, I think, and they worked on Akimbot for the last 3 years. And now it's here, and I've played it, and it is really good. It is like one of the best indie games I've ever played. And I might be a bit biased because I like Ratchet and Clank and Jak and Daxter, but who cares? So Akimbot begins with the 2 main characters, Exy and Shipset, who are being escorted to prison because they both did some really bad stuff. I think Shipset was arrested because he tried to rob a store which had the last stock of Prime in the area. And Exy got caught by Nintendo for downloading Pokemon Fire Red on a Game Boy emulator. So Shipset's plan initially is to annoy the hell out of the pilot of the ship, which causes them to crash, and then the game begins. And I'll first start off with the graphics. For an indie game in 2024, these graphics are actually like top notch. It's got like ray tracing, it's all beautiful shading and lighting, and everything just looks really nice. It's so colorful. I love the aesthetic of the sort of geometric shapes. They're not too refined or round. They've got very sharp edges and it's a bit jagged. It's a very appealing style. The characters, like I mentioned, Shipset and Exy. Exy is like an ex-mercenary or something. He did a lot of bad shit in the army, I guess. He was initially dishonorably discharged because he got caught playing a pirated version of Earthbound. His character essentially takes no shit from anyone, and he certainly doesn't take any shit from Shipset. And Shipset is like a flying claptrap, except he's unintentionally annoying, maybe. I mean, most of the game is just Exy telling Shipset to shut the fuck up, like, so you think it's pretty much just Deadpool and Wolverine, except there's no Disney jokes every 2 seconds. And then there's a bunch of other characters like the evil mob boss, there's the ambassador, and then there's the bad guy, Evilware, who you would never suspect is a bad guy. There's actually a typhoon warning in my area right now, so I probably shouldn't stay here too long or I'll be either blown away or consumed by a wave. So when it comes to the actual gameplay, like I said, this is a third-person shooter platformer, so platforming is absolutely galore in this game. Like I said, it's very akin to Ratchet and Clank, Jak and Daxter, and so every single level is just littered with platforming. This platforming can actually be very hard sometimes, and there's some very meticulous little areas you have to jump to, and you have to be all careful with your jumps. You have to time everything perfectly, and there's all these obstacles. There's hazards like lasers. There's these big electrical fields, which, like I made my video on the demo, and these electrical field things weren't there last time, and also these robot bees, so I guess they're new additions, so nice on the devs for adding a few extra things. And then the combat itself is actually really satisfying. So like Ratchet and Clank, you've got a big massive arsenal of weapons here to choose from. You've got the weapons you can buy, like an acid flamethrower, dual pistols, a laser beam, a railgun. So there's plenty here, but on top of that you actually get free weapons, which I know I keep comparing it to Ratchet and Clank, and I said it stands on its own 2 feet. I'll get to that, but it has a lot of moments like the older Ratchet and Clank games, like Up Your Arsehole, where characters just give you guns for free at the start of the game. Like, here's a sniper rifle, here's an AK-47, here's a rocket launcher. Have fun. Those weapons that you can buy, you can only equip one of them at a time, so you have to wait until you get to another weapon vendor before you can equip one of your many guns that you've purchased. Upgrading them is actually quite expensive. It took me like an hour just to get enough currency to upgrade my first weapon. And the actual gameplay of the shooting, like I said, it's really satisfying. It's like on top of the game being a platformer, a very good platformer at that, very reminiscent of old PS2 games, but it is quite a serviceable third-person shooter if you take the platforming out from it. Also, from the demo, there was like this early area where you could get a weapon vendor, and I either missed that or it got moved, because for the first like 15 minutes I didn't have a gun and I was just basically playing a hack and slash game, which is fine. I like those kind of games, but I was kind of like, a gun would be kind of handy right about now. There's about 20 enemies swarming me. But I did eventually get a gun, and yeah, everything was great. Everything was fine. But the guns just feel very satisfying to use overall. Like, they feel very snappy, responsive. It's very accurate, and the game's sound design overall is very crispy and very responsive. And, you know, from collecting coins to jumping and shooting, everything just Very nice sound design as well. There's also a lot of puzzles in the game, like you hit these orbs into these holes, and there's little hacking challenges which are piss easy, but you know, they add a little nice bit of change of pace, I guess, for 5 seconds. And the game does change gameplay styles every once in a while. Like sometimes you'll play as Shipset in this Subway Surfers rip-off, and then you'll be driving a car, or you'll be riding a robot dinosaur that shoots lasers. Like it's fucking insane. The only thing I didn't like out of all of these though was the car. It just, I don't know how to describe it. The controls just felt like the car was lagging. It's like it had 500 ping or something like that. It just kept stopping, and like even when I was using the boost, it would boost for like 2 seconds and stop, and it was okay. Like. And also, I played the game on the hardest difficulty because, you know, I finished Dark Souls, so I have to make every game as hard as possible to keep up that level of difficulty in my life. And also, I'm like, you know, a pro at platformers, so this game was a piece of piss to me. It was so easy, except sometimes it wasn't easy, you know. Some bits I'd be stuck on for like 20 minutes and I'd be like, ooh, this is starting to get on my nerves a little bit, but, you know, I just gotta lock in and get good. And then again with the platforming, there's like wall running, and the wall running is really weird. It's got this like magnetic feeling to it. It's like a fly getting stuck to like a fly trap. You just magnetize and like you just fly over to it, you get stuck in like a fixed position. And you don't really move. It's like a point A to point B animation. You just slide across and then jump off. It's still fun, but like I said, it just feels really magnetic and mechanical. It doesn't really feel like you have much control over it. And you know, checkpoints and health packs were very, very generously sprinkled out throughout the game, so that's why I say it wasn't too hard, because I'd be in the middle of this really hard boss fight or arena with like 100 enemies, and there's like 20 health packs in there, and they all immediately put you up to full health. You know, every minute there's a checkpoint, so it's pretty generous. It's not, I wouldn't say it's like they're babifying it to you, they're just being like generous. They're like, here you go, we don't want you to struggle too much and give our game like 1-star review. And again, like I said, the characters, like, you know, Shipset is annoying, probably intentionally, and Xe is just this kind of like brooding, like, oh, I'm cool, shut up, you don't matter, nothing matters to me, I don't give a fuck about anything, oh, I'm a nihilist, oh, I watch Rick and Morty. It's not that bad. Like, sometimes the writing is a little bit cringe, and you're just kind of like, oh, shut up. And the story isn't too serious, like, it's kind of like, this bad guy wants to destroy the universe, like that is the plot. But I don't think the aim of the game was to create this brooding fucking narrative with, like, you know, replicating God of War, Last of Us, where this has got to be a movie. It's just, this is a really fun, silly game replicating old platformers about 2 robots stopping a bad guy called Evil from destroying the universe, and there's also time travel, of course. But I mean, there's robot dinosaurs, there's you get to kill civilians on the beach who are just trying to party, which is a bit cruel, but you get an achievement for it, so it's not that bad actually, you know, it's not a problem at all. Oh, sorry if the shore here is a bit loud, there's a lot of waves, because like I said, typhoon incoming. But in conclusion, if you like games about robots, if you like old school 3D platformers, if you like a good fun time, if you like third person shooters with pretty nice combat, and you're just looking for... My phone fell out of my pocket there while I was recording. Yeah, so the game was made by only like 8 people, but it was originally one guy who made Pumpkin Jack. He hired a bunch more people. They made Akimbot. They worked on it for 3 years. The effort really does show. Like, it is really, some moments are really, really cinematic. Like, there's crazy ass explosions. There's like crazy ass camera angles. So it feels like it's as close to a AAA game as you can with like its small little indie studio. Like, the work they put in really shows the heart, the soul, the passion. It is a really, really well-made game. Like I said, I might have some bias because I grew up, like, Ratchet and Clank is my favorite gaming franchise of all time. I love Jak and Daxter and Sly Cooper, I just love 3D platformers, and I love third-person shooters. So, you know, that's for you to judge. It only costs like $20. So if you're looking to spend 8 to, I don't know, 10, 12 hours just playing through this game, having a fun time, and just enjoying your life, relax, and just, this is the perfect game for that. It's just fun, nonsensical action. It does, like I said, some of the characters, especially when the back and forth is just Shipset says something annoying and Xe says shut the fuck up. There are some good jokes in there that made me chuckle a little bit. It's for all ages. It's not like an adult game. It's not exactly for babies either. The characters sometimes say damn, like Shadow the Hedgehog, so you know, there's a little there's a little bit of edge there. The platforming is perfect, and there's plenty of weapons, and you can upgrade the weapons to do more damage, and they get like little abilities like the laser can ricochet between enemies. The waves are getting bigger and closer here, so I should probably wrap this up. If, like I said, you like robot games, then check out my review of RoboQuest, which is a roguelike first-person shooter. It's really chaotic and fast-paced, and it's one of my favorite games as well, just like this is now one of my new favorite games. And this so far is probably my game of the year. I haven't played many new games. I do have my eye on Astrobot though. Subscribe, you know, call to action. This is my first time filming outside, so maybe this will turn out well. If not, I'll film inside. I will see you in the next video when I return. Good luck.